Student friends, in last lecture we studied the biasing of BZT. In that we have studied forward mode of biasing, cutoff mode of biasing, and saturation mode of biasing. Fourth type is also available, to which we can call it is a reverse mode of biasing. We also studied the configurations of the BZT, and in which we have studied three configurations are possible. One is common emitter configuration, third one is common base configuration, and last one is common collector configuration. Student friends, today we are going to study one of the configuration in detail, and that is known as common emitter configuration. Student friends, common emitter configuration means emitter is common for input as well as output. Friends, BZT has got three terminals, namely emitter, base and collector. Out of these three terminals, if suppose emitter is common for input as well as output, means emitter is grounded, then and then only it becomes common for input as well as output. Whereas input is applied between base and emitter so as to get the output across collector and emitter. Then we can say the configuration of BZT is in common emitter. This is the circuit diagram that represents the use of BZT in common emitter configuration. Friends, this is the BZT. The symbol of BZT we already studied. And this is the symbol of NPN transistor. And we are well aware that arrow is present on the emitter terminal. According to that particular concept, we can say here is the arrow, it is represented. So that's why this is the emitter terminal. Whereas this one is base, whereas this one is the collector. As arrow is outward, we can say the BZT used here is of the type of NPN. Means emitter is of N type, base is of P type, and collector is of N type. With this considered aspect of BZT, emitter is grounded. Look at here. This is the emitter terminal which is grounded, and this is a symbol of ground. This emitter is common now for input. On this side there is an input, whereas on this side there is an output. Because we are applying input here, look at it, and we are getting output across this resistance. So that's why we can say this is the input part where we are applying to the BZT, and we are getting the output across this. So that's why we can say this is the terminal which is common for input as well as output. That is the reason why we can call this particular configuration is the common emitter configuration. Friends, in this case, This is the input signal which is represented here. V in, Vi is the input signal which is applied between base and that of emitter. So this is internal resistance of the input signal. You may consider it is a part of this signal source, input signal itself, which is in series with the input source. That is used to also limit the current that passing through the base of BJT. Thus, Vi or V in with the input signal that is applied between base and emitter, whereas output is taken, that is a V out, between collector and that of emitter. Listen it carefully. We are applying input between base and emitter. When we are speaking with the input, there is a base and emitter, and we are getting the output across collector and emitter. In both the cases, emitter is common, and that is the reason why we can call this configuration is of common emitter configuration. Friends, as usual, to bias the BJT properly, here is the battery VEE that is applied to forward bias base emitter junction, that is the input junction. Whereas the battery VCC is applied between collector and emitter so that it will reverse bias collector and base. This aspect we have studied when we have studied the modes of biasing the BJT. Here input junction is forward biased, whereas output junction is reverse biased. How? Let us see. The BJT is of the type of N, P, N type. Base is of P type. Look at here. To this P region, we have connected positive terminal of the battery, VEE. Negative terminal is connected to the N region. So that's why this battery is used to forward bias base emitter junction. Then look at for this particular battery. This is VCC. Its positive terminal is connected to the collector, and collector is of N type, whereas the negative terminal is connected to the emitter. As having positive terminal is connected to the N region, we can say collector base junction is a reverse biased. Thus we can say here input junction is forward biased, whereas output junction is reverse biased. Hence this configuration is used to work BJT as an amplifier. Here this RL is going to act as a load resistance across which we can get the amplified output voltage. Now we can say Vi is the input signal applied between base and emitter, which is required to be amplified by the BJT. After amplification, we are going to obtain the amplified output voltage across the load resistance, which is connected between collector and that of emitter. Now, how it is going to act as an amplifier? Friends, I do remember input junction is forward biased, output junction is reverse biased. So that's why emitter starts emitting the charge carriers. Emitted charge carrier will pass through the base region. Some will recombine with the holes in the base region, and remaining will be collected in the collector region to constitute the collector current IC. Now, due to applying the input voltage to be amplified, a small change in base current produces large change in the collector current. This large change in the collector current passes through the load resistance. According to Ohm's law, it develops voltage across that load resistance. Hence, so produced the output voltage is large, greater than that of the input voltage. Thus, we can say we can get amplified output voltage across the load resistance RL. Thus, BJT in common emitter configuration is going to act as an amplifier provided its base emitter junction is forward biased, whereas the collector base junction is reverse biased. When it is going to act as an amplifier, under that particular amplifying action condition, we are going to define few terms. First one is DC current gain. It is denoted by beta. Let us see the definition of DC current gain. DC current gain of BJT is, in general, the ratio of output current upon input current. In general. Now, in common emitter configuration, output current is collector current IC, which is represented here, whereas input current is IB, which is represented here. And the definition is the ratio of output current upon input current is current gain. With that particular definition, and by considering this as a common emitter configuration, we can say DC current gain denoted by beta only for common emitter configuration is the ratio of IC upon IB. This is true for common emitter configuration only. General definition is output current upon input current. In case of common emitter configuration, output current is IC, input current is IB, and that's why we can say DC current gain beta is equal to IC upon IB. Then AC current gain, it is defined as change in output current upon change in input current. It is denoted by beta AC. That is delta IC upon delta IB. Definition is same, but here is dynamic aspect is considered. That is change in IC upon change in IB. That is called as beta AC or AC current gain. The last definition we are going to study, it is the voltage gain. Voltage gain is defined as the ratio of output voltage upon input voltage. Here output voltage is VO, input voltage is VI, so that's why we can say voltage gain denoted by AV, and that's equal to VO upon VI. V for voltage, I for input, here V for voltage and O for output. So this is the output voltage upon input voltage VI, that we can call it as the voltage gain AV. Friends, this is how one can make use of BJT in common emitter configuration and how it is going to act as an amplifier along with these three definitions. After this, we are going to study the IV characteristics of BJT in common emitter configuration. Friends, while studying the IV characteristics of BJT in common emitter configuration, we are going to make use of this circuit diagram as represented here. At the beginning, let me define the IV characteristics. Already we have studied the IV characteristics of PN junction diode. We studied the IV characteristics of Zener diode. We studied the IV characteristics of tunnel diode. Thus, I can say we are well aware with the IV characteristics of the semiconducting device in general. By definition, we can say it is a graph of current passing through the device versus voltage developed across that particular device. Accordingly, here we are going to plot the graph of current passing through the BJT against voltage developed across the BJT. Student friends, BJT in common emitter configuration has two characteristics, IV characteristics. One is the input characteristics and second one is output characteristics. We are going to study both the characteristics, and to plot both the characteristics, the circuit diagram used is represented here. So this is the circuit diagram that is used to plot the IV characteristics of BZT. Friends, here is the BZT. Just we have studied the common emitter configuration. Same type of BZT, it is also NPN type. Here is the arrow that represents the emitter. Here is the base and here is the collector. Emitter is now common, look at here. For what? Input as well as the output. So that's why the configuration is referred as the common emitter configuration. In consequence, we can say we are applying input between base and that of emitter, or whereas we are getting the output across collector and that of emitter. This is also reason why we can call the configuration as a common emitter configuration. In one sentence, we can say the BZT is used in common emitter configuration. The BZT is biased by using the power supply VBB and VCC. This is the power supply that is used to forward bias base emitter junction. Transistor is N, P, N type. Base is of P type. This P type, P region is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. This is the positive terminal of the battery. It is connected via rheostat to the P region. Whereas the N region is connected to the, negative terminal is connected to the emitter, which is of N type. So that's why battery VBB forward biases base emitter junction. Whereas the power supply VCC or battery VCC connected, it will reverse bias collector base junction. How? Let us see. This positive terminal is connected via this particular path to the collector, which is of N type. Means to the N region, the positive terminal of the battery is connected. That's why we can say collector base junction of BZT is reverse biased. Now, this is the rheostat that is used. By using rheostat, one can change the voltage, input voltage applied between base and emitter, so as to change the input current, IB. By using this output rheostat, one can change the output voltage. With this, one can change one can study the effect of output current IC. Thus, the current meter is connected in series with the base that measures the base current IB. Voltmeter is connected in parallel between base and emitter that measures voltage VBE as an input voltage. Similarly, a current meter is connected on the output side that measures the collector current IC, whereas voltmeter is connected in parallel, that is between collector and emitter, that measures the collector to emitter voltage VCE. By knowing the base current and base to emitter voltage, by knowing collector current and collector to emitter voltage, one can plot the graph of input and output IV characteristics. Dear students, let me go to plot the input characteristics. By definition, we can say input characteristics of BZT, it is the graph of input current versus input voltage when output voltage is constant. What is the definition of input IV characteristics? We have to keep the output voltage constant by varying input voltage VBE and note down the base current IB. As per definition, it is a graph of input current versus input voltage when output voltage is constant. Now, output IV characteristics we are going to define. Output IV characteristics, it is the graph of output current IC versus output voltage VCE when input current IB is constant. To plot the output characteristics, we have to keep the base current IB constant, vary output voltage VCE, and note down the collector current IC. Plot the graph of IC versus VCE by keeping IB constant, we get the output characteristics. Keep the output voltage VCE constant, vary input voltage VBE, and note down the IB. Plot the graph of IB versus VBE. When VC is constant, we will get the input characteristics. Let us plot the input characteristics. As per definition, what we have to do, by using the output rheostat, keep VCE constant, and by using input rheostat, vary base to emitter voltage and go on noting the different base current. We have now reading of IB and VBE for fixed voltage of VCE. If you want to get another input characteristics, change collector to emitter voltage to another value, keep it fixed with this rheostat, again perform the same process, and that is vary VBE and note down IB, plot the graph of IB versus VBE. This graph we can call it as input characteristics, which is represented here. So this is the input characteristics of VZT in common emitter configurations. Friends, by using the process, by keeping the VC constant, allowing VBE to change and note down IB, we have a set of IB and VBE for different value of VCE. Plot the graph of IB versus VBE. On y-axis, IB is taken, on x-axis VB is taken, and graph is plotted. The nature of graph are represented here. These are for different values of VCE. We have plotted the graph. These variation of IB with VBE for fixed voltage of VCE, the resulting graph we can call it as it is input characteristics or input IV characteristics. So that's why we can say input IV characteristics is the graph of IB versus VBE. The nature is represented here. Now we are going to consider one of the curve. Let us say the graph is plotted for VC is equal to 2 volt. For this 2 volt value, we have a kind of a nature, what it represents. With this nature, we can say at the beginning, when VB is 0, IB is 0. As VB increases, IB remains 0. At a particular value of VBE, IB starts increasing. Look at here. And after that, VB remains constant. Only IB increases exponentially. This is the nature of the graph that appears. From this nature we can say, we know that input junction is forward biased. As the being input junction is forward biased, when external supply voltage has to become its forward breakover voltage, that junction doesn't conduct the current. For silicon, that breakover voltage is 0.6 volt. For germanium, it is 0.2 volt. Up to that, the base current is 0. After that, a slight increase in input voltage increases the input base current very sharply. Look at here. So this represents the working of BJT. When you, same is true for different value of VC. As VCE increases, the curve becomes more and more shallow. The curve becomes more and more shallow. From this to this, the shallowness increases. This is how one can interpret the working of BJT as a being input junction is forward biased. If you take the slope of particular curve, you may consider it. You may take particular point, draw tangent on it, find its slope. Slope gives, here is a delta IB, whereas this one is the delta VB. Slope is delta IB upon delta VB. We are well aware how to determine the slope. Take the reciprocal of the slope, that is 1 upon slope. When you take the 1 upon slope, it gives its input resistance. That is delta VB upon delta IB, reverse of this. By Ohm's law, the ratio of voltage upon current is the resistance. Here, change in base emitter voltage upon change in base current gives you the input resistance Ri, which can be determined by selecting any one of the curve. Generally, input resistance is going to lie in between 600 ohm to 4 kilo ohm for common emitter configuration. Friends, this is what the explanation of input IV characteristics of BJT in common emitter configuration. Now to plot the output characteristics, the procedure to be used by using same circuit diagram, and that is to keep the base current IB constant, vary VCE and note down IC. Then plot the graph of IC against VCE for constant IB for the different set of the input current. Now we have a set of reading of IC and VCE with us. By definition, output characteristics of BJT in common emitter configuration is the graph of IC versus VCE when IB is constant. On y-axis, collector current IC is taken. On x-axis, collector to emitter voltage VCE is taken. And then graph is plotted for IC versus VCE at constant IB. So this is the graph that represents for base current 10 microampere. This is the graph that represents for base current 20 microampere. This is the graph that represents graph of IC versus VCE for 30 microampere, and so on and so on. The resulting nature are represented in this particular graph. Friends, the entire output characteristics of BJT again represents the working of BJT. Look at here. The region below IB equal to 0 microampere. Here, look at it. Here IB equal to 0 microampere, and that graph is represented with a dotted line. This below region is called as cutoff region. In cutoff region, we are well aware that when we have studied the biasing, there we have studied. In cutoff region, both the junctions are reverse biased and BJT doesn't conduct the current. Above IB equal to 0, above IB equal to 0, to the right of IC axis, means this entire region of working of BJT, it is called as the active region. This is the region in which input junction is reverse biased, whereas input junction is forward biased and output junction is reverse biased. This region is called as the active region. The region very close to the IC axis to the right side, it is called as a saturation region, means this region entire. It is called as a saturation region. In this case, both the junctions are forward biased. Here collector current is maximum. It goes to, BJT goes to saturated. Above that maximum current, no current flows. That's why this region is called as saturation region. Friends, when BJT is made to work in active region, it works as an amplifier. But when BJT works either in cutoff region or in saturation region, it will work as a switch. Let me interpret the graph of IC versus VCE. If you look at this particular nature of the graph, we can say at the beginning when VC is 0, IC is 0. When VC increases, IC increases for this particular graph. After a particular value, even though VC is increased, IC remains constant. That is the speciality. That is the speciality. If we consider any curve, same interpretation we can obtain. At the beginning, VC is 0, IC is 0. As VC increases, IC increases. After that, even though VC is increased, IC remains constant. This is the one conclusion again we can draw. If you look to reading of IB, as IB increases from 10, 20, 30, 40, for 10, current is 1 milliampere. For 20, it is almost 2 milliampere. For 30, 3 milliampere. Look at here, input is microampere, output is milliampere. Output is more than that of input. This indicates that as IB increases, IC also increases. This is another conclusion we can draw. Increase in IB, here increases IC. Thus we can say BJT is current controlled device. Thus we can say BJT is current controlled device because IB is the input current, whereas IC is the output current. Increase in IB increases the IC, that is output current. Input current is used to control the output current. So that's why we can call BJT is a current controlled device. It can be operated in the active region when it is going to act as an amplifier. This is the region. It may going to be operated in the cutoff region or in the saturation region when it is going to act as a switch. Select any one of the curve, draw tangent like this, find its slope. We know tangent drawing means select a curve point, draw tangent, find the slope. Slope is going to give you delta IC upon delta VC, ratio of collector current IC upon collector to emitter voltage VCE. Take its reciprocal, that is 1 upon slope. 1 upon slope is going to give you delta VCE upon delta IC. It is a ratio of change in output voltage upon change in output current, that is output resistance. For common emitter configuration, output resistance is between 10 kilo ohm to 50 kilo ohm. Now we are going to define another term, that is a current gain, which we already defined. It is a ratio of change in output current upon change in input current. To determine that particular current gain from the graph, we can say draw a line parallel to y-axis. Say keep VCE fixed, that is a 7 volt. Draw a line parallel to y-axis from that particular voltage. Select any two curve, call it as IB1, IB2, draw a line parallel to x-axis which will intersect on y-axis. For two curve, you will get two current IB1, IB2, IC1, IC2. By definition, we can write current gain, it is a ratio of change in collector current upon change in base current, that is IC2 minus IC1 upon IB2 minus IB1. This is going to give you current gain of BZT in common emitter configuration, which can be determined from the graph. Student friends, try to remember, you have to perform a kind of an experiment for the practical. You have to plot the same output characteristic curve and you have to determine the current gain beta. And that can be determined practically by plotting the graph, by using the same circuit diagram which we have studied just now. This is the circuit diagram. We can use it for practical purpose also. Friends, this is how BZT can be used as an amplifier. Few definitions. By using these particular definitions and configuration we studied, we have defined the input and output characteristics. Circuit diagram used to plot the input and output characteristics. Then we have plotted the input characteristics. We interpreted it. We also plotted the output characteristics. We use them to interpret them. Both the characteristics are going to explain the working of BZT. That is the reason why those are called as the characteristics of BZT. And as a being it is used in common emitter configuration, those characteristics, those graphs are called as IV characteristics of BZT in common emitter configuration. Student friends, that's all about the BZT to be used in common emitter configuration. That's all about today's lecture. Next time we will go for the common base configuration. Please do remember all these aspects correctly so that next article will become easy for your understanding. Students, we have given some 2 to 3 formulas here. One is the formula of input resistance, one is the formula of voltage gain, another is the formula for current gain. All these formulas are to be remembered by you because we are using these formulas to solve the examples. That's all about today's lecture. Next time we'll go for the next subtopic.